Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Water and Sanitation Minister Phemi Majordina and her counterpart in cooperative governance, Velenkosini Hlabisa, will not be attending today's State of the Nation address. This after President Cyril Ramaphosa ordered them and their deputies to rather deal with the ongoing water crisis in Gauteng. Some parts of the province have been struggling with water shortages, leading to a number of protest action. EWN reporter Thabiso Koba joins us live now from Cape Town, where that State of the Nation address will be taking place. Thabiso, two ministers told to sit out the festivities this evening. What else have you heard from the President's office?
Well, Mbali, the ongoing water crisis in some parts of Gauteng and the frustration of many residents has caught the President's attention. President Cyril Ramaphosa has ordered all hands on deck until the situation is resolved. Now, the Minister in the Presidency, Kumbuzo Chabeni, says it's important that different sectors of government are in one room for a coordinated and quicker response.
They're not sent to Johannesburg alone, they're sent to Johannesburg and Tshwane. That's why the Deputy Minister Matlabo, because he had not reached Cape Town, he started in Tshwane yesterday, because people of Tshwane do not have water. So, and they're not unique, but you need to then say what are the immediate measures to intervene that will alleviate that problem.
Now, today, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi has issued a public apology. This follows the comments he made yesterday, where he said that the water crisis in the province forced him to take a bath at a hotel. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News, reporting live from the Cape Town City Hall.
Let's stay in Cape Town. Acting Police Minister Relebogile Mabotja has called the various law enforcement units and urged them to work together as they are deployed for the 2026 State of the Nation address. He addressed an integrated law enforcement parade at the Castle of Good Hope this afternoon. The various policing units, which include the SANDF, SAPS and the City of Cape Town's Metro Police and Traffic Services, lined up in drill formations to listen to the acting minister. Carlo Peterson has more.
General Fani Masimola started off proceedings at the Castle of Good Hope today by addressing the officers about the purpose of their deployment, saying they have a duty to ensure a peaceful State of the Nation address. Acting Minister of Police Relebogile Mabotja followed by echoing Masimola's sentiments, saying SONA deserves the highest level of excellence from police.
I am particularly pleased to see members of our National Army here alongside members of the South African Police Service for reasons that will become clear in the days ahead.
Kachalia has indicated he will be meeting with various stakeholders in the Western Cape over the next 2 months to address concerns about ongoing gang violence and crime in the province. Carlo Peterson, Eyewitness News at the Castle of Good Hope in Cape Town.
Well, you can watch President Cyril Ramaphosa deliver the State of the Nation address this evening with expert insights and post-speech reactions live on ewn.co.za. To the courts now, the Johannesburg High Court has handed down an order allowing alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Matlala to physically consult with his lawyers. Matlala has been in court fighting his transfer to South Africa's only supermax prison, eBongweni in Kokstad. He cited challenges with consulting with his lawyers while incarcerated at the KZN facility. Matlala, his wife Tsakani, and their 3 co-accused returned to the Joburg High Court today. That's where the court received an update on the readiness for pre-trial proceedings and that request from Matlala's lawyers for access to him for consultation. Human Settlements Minister Thembisi Melane says she, along with 25 other families, deserve justice for their loved ones who were murdered during apartheid. Simelane is the first witness to testify before the TRC cases inquiry, probing allegations of political interference in apartheid-era prosecutions. The inquiry was delayed for 9 months due to administrative delays and several recusal applications. Her sister, Nokuthula Simelane, disappeared in 1983 while on a mission for the ANC in Eswatini. Simelane has fought unsuccessfully for years to have those responsible prosecuted. She says she feels betrayed.
We feel betrayed. I feel betrayed myself as well. The state has betrayed us. I'd hope the old system may not do anything, but I'd hope that the new system will at least give me the truth, which is what the TRC promised us. Nothing else, just the truth. It is and it has been a very lonely journey.
And in Bangladesh, voters have taken to the polls in the country's first election since a deadly 2024 uprising. Leading Prime Ministerial hopeful Tariq Rahman says he is confident his Bangladesh National Party can regain power in the South Asian nation, but he faces stiff opposition from a coalition led by Muslim-majority Islamist party Jamaat-e-Islami. More than 300,000 soldiers and police have been deployed countrywide to ensure the voting process is secure. Gold is trading at $5,074.87 an ounce. The rand is at $15.92 to the dollar, $21.74 to the pound, $18.93 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $69.40 a barrel.
In Isando, Kempton Park, there's still bumper-to-bumper traffic on the R24 westbound between the R21 split and Barbara Road. This is due to an earlier accident. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Polshof at Witkoppen and Main.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today with scattered showers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 30 and 31 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour: Water and Sanitation Minister Phemi Majodina and her counterpart in cooperative governance Velenkosini Hlabisa will not be attending today's State of the Nation address.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Get your brain in the game and win big on the Brain of 702. Enter now on primemediaplus.com. T's and C's apply.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja.
Live, streaming countrywide
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856
92.7
and 106 FM.
Eight minutes to 1 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja, on this Thursday, the 12th of February. We're going to be getting into some interesting conversations. I want to find out from all of you, how has death and grief changed your relationships? If it did so, how has death and grief changed your relationships? And maybe it changed your relationships in a way that you cut somebody off and then they lose somebody and then you're like, oh my gosh, this person's lost their mother, I need to go show up. Or you noticed that after burying your loved one, you suddenly were losing people around you. And how exactly does that happen? But I've heard these stories before, and I want to hear from each and every one of you how death and grief has changed your relationships and why that may be the case. In our Belief Matters feature, we're going to talk about chanting and why chanting is considered holy. I'm looking forward to that conversation with Reverend Charlotte Rose Mudau, who's from the African Methodist Episcopal Church and co-founder of an NPO that is called Broken. Then we wrap it up with what we do every Thursday, our consumer rights feature with Wendy Nola Knows. We're going to talk about online grocery shopping. There is a complaint that we're going to unpack regarding one of the service providers, but we also open up the lines to all of you to share your consumer rights issues, not just the topics that we are discussing. So get in touch with us. 011 883 0702. SMS us 31702. Tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702 Afternoons
With Relebogile Mabotja.
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
many people who have lost somebody close to them will share stories and experiences of how people sometimes fall off. So I'll give an example. There was a woman who was sharing that I think she had lost a parent or a sibling, but it was somebody very close to her. And the moment she started losing people was because she felt like people were expecting her to just move on. So after a year or a bit, they kind of want to get on with life, right? They want to go back to having the small talk. They want to go back to the fun conversations. And if you are living a life where you are still absolutely struggling, there are very few people who are able to stick around for that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It can be a lot, and we also are considerate of the fact that other people are going through things. Maybe your grief is triggering somebody, hence they are, hoping you will move on sooner than what you do. But I want to find out how death has changed your relationships. Another way that death can change your relationships is that after people lose their parents, for example, they start to see how family members see them in real life. Like, maybe I was only valuable when my mother was still here because you were close to my mother, but you actually didn't care about me. We all hear of those stories, or where you will see that you are completely separated from your father's side of the family, for example, because after your father has passed on and your father's family comes in and they get your mom and you guys out of the house, or whatever the case may be, where now you no longer have a relationship with any of them. We had a situation. The gentleman called on this show to say after his wife died, the family came and took the kids. That he is still fighting to get his kids back. He was not able to bury his wife the way he wanted to. So he lost his entire family of in-laws, people that he thought also loved him. So grief and death and loss is funny in that way of how, I wouldn't necessarily say it changes people. It does definitely change people, but it also reveals people. It shows us who people really are. Because some people, I guess, are only on their best behavior because others are still alive. So what has your experience been dealing with loss, grief, and death? It might not be a parent. It could be a close friend. Maybe your friend passed on and your friend group breaks up because of expectations not being met, or your friend group now excludes you because that friend is the one that kept everybody together. But I know that death can change relationships. And in that period, right, the period where the noise has died down, the period where everybody's now gone home, that period where a week has gone by, people have stopped the, are you okay, just checking in. That's when the reality kicks in. And that's when relationships start to reveal themselves or change. So I want to hear from you on 011 883 0702 in the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
Spend your afternoon
With Relebogile Mabotja.
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
We go to the lines as we chat about grief, death, loss, how it has changed your relationships. Sometimes even it changes your relationships for the better, right? Where people step in and they truly love up on you. Where you're like, wow, before I lost this person, life was like this. After I lost this person, people stepped in and showed up for me, and I have great relationships with them. Nikki in Vosloorus, how are you?
Hi, Liz. I'm good and you?
I'm good. Go ahead, Nikki.
Oh, Lebo, I don't want to lie, losing your loved ones is the most painful thing ever.
Are you the same Nikki who lost a son?
Yes, it's me.
Yes, Nikki, I do remember you, and we still are brokenhearted for you, and I hope you are taking it easy and being kind and gentle with yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying, Lebo, but Lebo, it's so hard. It's very difficult. I never ever thought death would literally change my life like in a split of a second. You isolate from everybody. I've got so many people, around me that check on me constantly. But there's this thing, I'm not in the mood for this. Like, I just want my son, if I could just have him just for 1 second, tell me, Mommy, I'm okay there where I am, I would move forward. At the times that I lock the gates when I come back from selling at 11 o'clock, as I'm talking to you now, that gate is so locked because I'm afraid people are going to come here. And, the feeling that you get, Lebu, you just cry. Your tears just come from nowhere. You just cry and go in emotions. Sometimes the reason why we isolate is we're so afraid people are going to say, Namanje, we are Kala, because they don't understand. You are not doing it on purpose when you cry. So, because I don't want to irritate people, maybe because I don't know what they are thinking, because I cry, Lebo. I cry. I mean, I literally cry every day. If I'm not crying inside, I cry outside. But it has changed me so much, Lebo, that I've got so much anger in me. But then again, I go on the TikToks and I go on verses like what I've got really mean when it says read the dead to the dead, so that I can really understand what does it mean. How can he expect me to just forget about my child, the very child that he gave me, that he said to me, I must love unconditionally. But then again, this child has just been taken away from me. Maybe it would have been okay if he died when I saw he was sick and, I was trying to get him to get better. But having to sleep wake and the next day your child is just born with no answers, nothing. All that is passed away. You have to bury your child and you have to live the next day. So it is hard, Lebo. It is hard. It's tough, Lebo. This is a pain that will never go away, because even in the Bible, it says there's no place in the Bible where God says, I'm going to take away your pain. But it does say, I will send the angel to come down to comfort you.
You
So
know what
meaning
I'm happy you're sharing with us, Nikki, is that people are still checking up on you. There's some people that get tired of, like, they start to feel like, ish, again, it's been 5 years, it's been 10 years, not understanding it could be 30 years. So I'm so glad, Nikki, that you are sharing that with us. And Nikki, we continue to share with you healing, light and love and comfort. Losing a child is something you will never get over, unfortunately, but hopefully it is easier to get out of bed on future days, and you are able to just give yourself the grace and the love to get through this. Luvuyo in Relebogile, hi.
Hi, Relebogile, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
Good. I echo what the listener previously said. I lost my twin brother 2022.
Oh,
and
I'm so sorry. So sorry.
Yeah, and shortly after that, I was in a very long-term relationship for 8 years, and a few months later, that also suddenly ended. So my brother was my best friend, so I tried to make new friends, and ultimately my best friend passes away last year, December, in the same fashion to my twin brother, where they were both killed. So that kind of makes me very uncommitted to personal relationships. It's very hard. I mean, you do isolate yourself a lot because people, for me, people do get tired. People say you need to move on. You need to But it's not as easy as that. So you do isolate yourself. Believe you me, you lose a lot of friends, family, everyone around you. I mean, I do not blame my current friends. One was supposed to visit me, and for some reason I just couldn't. I didn't want him to visit me because, having that close relationship, it's very hard when you lose someone. So,
So let me say this, Luvuyo. Firstly, what was your brother's name?
it was Lwazi.
Tell me about him.
So he was he was very, very protective. So he cared about me. He showed me what love is. He showed me what ambition, how to go for your dreams and never be afraid. I was very much of a loner and never had much friends. So he kind of took that role and kind of was like, I got you, my twin brother. So he was that type of a person for me.
Were you guys identical?
No, we'd swear as if we were just brothers.
And how many minutes were you guys apart, and who was older?
9 minutes, and he was older.
Oh, I'm sure he reminded you all the time, ne?
Look, he had a beard and all of that. He was very hairy. He took all my hair. He took to this day, I don't have a beard.
And then you have to remind him that, listen, it was only literally 9 minutes apart.
Exactly. Like, if it was just a few minutes, we would probably be as hairy as he was.
So let me say this, Luvuyo. I think as people now, we haven't learned and figured out how to be around a person going through a difficult time, right? We always feel like we're trying to solve it. And I saw the most interesting video. This girl is doing a skit, and the skit is about her visiting her best friend going through depression. But I think she did a great job. So the friend comes in, and the first thing she asks is, are we into touching or not, before she hugs her? And the friend's like, no touching. And then she's like, are we talking? Are we not talking? Are we on the bed or on the couch? And the friend who's like struggling with depression is answering her. Then she's like, have you eaten? Okay, let me go whip something up. But what I loved about that video is how it showed how, sometimes to support somebody just means physically being there. You don't have to talk. You don't have to do anything. And when the friend said, I'm ready to go to bed, she'd be like, okay, are we laying in the bed, or I'll just watch TV on the couch? Because at any given moment, grief requires different things. Sometimes grief requires you to be around people and just forgetting your reality and laughing. And sometimes grief just requires you to be left alone. So what I would maybe suggest is, if you're able to find ways at the times to communicate what you need at that time, it will help the people around you. And I know the natural thing will be like, you don't want to feel like you're burdening people, and you don't want to feel like you're bothering people. But also sometimes people genuinely want to support, but they don't know how. So even if the support is, I have not eaten in 3 days, but there's that one meal I know I'll eat. The people will show up for you. They really, really will. And even if the support is, I can't talk today, but I'll let you know as soon as I'm ready. That person might come back and say, cool, I'm just going to send a message to make sure there's 2 ticks in the morning to know that you're still okay. You know what I mean? And I hope that can support you, because sometimes it's hard to articulate what you need, and sometimes it's hard for the friend to know how to support you. So maybe just open that up, because maybe you do feel like, hey, I feel like hanging out, but I don't want to talk about how I'm feeling. Can we just go for a drink and laugh?
Yeah.
And that, I don't know if that will help you.
No, I think for me, it will definitely. I think trying to push away the friends that I have, like I said, it's kind of unfair to them, because like you said, they might actually be trying to do what the girl in the skit did on TikTok. So
yes. And you can give guides, even if you're like, yo, you can come over, but I'm not talking.
Yeah.
That's also cool. Then you guys put on a Netflix thing, you have popcorn, and it maybe relieves the pressure off of you from having to now talk about your feelings. That also gets tiring sometimes, you know?
Yes.
So
Yeah, it does.
I really, really wish you the best, Luvuyo, on your healing journey. I cannot even
Thank you very
begin to
much,
imagine.
Relebogile.
But, you know, keep celebrating your brother, keep celebrating your best friend, and I'm just sending you love and healing light. We go to Pile from Val. Hi, Pile.
Hello, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
I'm good.
Mm.
So from my side, actually, I've experienced grief in so many different ways, whereby I will start with my father. It took some time for us to bury him, and there was a family drama where we even had to go to the court because my mother was not even allowed to come to the funeral and honor the last respect. And we've parted with this family, whereby on the funeral day, we were told by the family and the chief that we are no longer welcome in the village because of what happened, and which is something that is not true per se, but then me being brave as I am, I had to stand for my mother. And immediately after we left, I recall the last call from my grandmother, whereby they were checking on us as we were driving from KZN, coming back to Gauteng province. And then she said to me, please drive safely and let me know when you arrive home. And unfortunately, I did not even arrive home, but I received a call saying that she's no more. She died because of a heart attack, of what the things that were happening. So, not to date, till last year on the 26th of December, where we were in KZN and I was driving with my mother, and I just said, you know what, maybe mommy, if we drive past the house, maybe you'll feel better. And then, so that's the thing now that I do, that I drive past the house so that we can see the house, that we're no longer in communication. And what makes it even worse is that after my dad passing, nothing has been done in terms of dividing the belongings and all that. Now, what scares me is the grief when my mother passed on. Because at the end of the day, I will have to go back again to the grief that is incomplete from my dad's side. But I'm no longer in communication with them. Yeah, so life happens like that, unfortunately.
Oh, Pile, I can hear in your voice, Jorge, it's still heavy on you. And you are right to be concerned because grief piles up and they all have their own processes. They all have their own time. I'm going to say to you what I said to Nikki, which was, I hope and pray you can be gentle with yourself and give yourself grace in moments where you are angry, frustrated, need to cry, feel whatever it is that you need to feel. Unfortunately, we can't control other people. And that is the reality that when death happens, you see other sides of people that you didn't even know existed. So I'm sorry, very, very sorry for your loss and everything that you have gone through, Pile from the Val. Zenzo, I see you. All of your voice notes and your messages, I see them. It is 1:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. Water and Sanitation Minister Phemima Jordina and her counterpart in cooperative governance, Velenkosini Hlabisa, will not be attending today's State of the Nation address. This after President Cyril Ramaphosa ordered them and their deputies to rather deal with the ongoing water crisis in Gauteng. Some parts of the province have been struggling with water shortages, leading to a number of protests. The Johannesburg High Court has handed down an order allowing alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Matlala to physically consult with his lawyers. Matlala has been in court fighting his transfer to South Africa's only supermax prison, Ebongweni in Kokstad. He cited challenges with consulting with his lawyers while incarcerated at the KZN facility. Matlala, his wife Tsakani and their 3 co-accused returned to the Joburg High Court today. While in Venezuela, lawmakers could pass a landmark bill today granting amnesty to political prisoners. If passed, the move would mark an entirely early milestone in the transition from the rule of toppled leader Nicolas Maduro. It was spearheaded by interim President Delcy Rodriguez. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 2 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, in the Kempton Park, Isando area, we still have bumper-to-bumper traffic. This is on the R24 westbound between the R21 split and Barbara Road. This is due to an earlier accident. Traveling through Sandton heading towards Midrand. Also, traffic a bit sluggish. This is on the M1 northbound between Greyston Drive and Marlborough Drive. There's also slow-moving traffic through Parktown. This is on the M1 southbound approaching Killarney Bends. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Polsoff at Witkoppen and Main Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
In the time of 33 percenters, I suppose 41 out of 100 is not a bad score. The 2025 Corruption Perceptions Index from Transparency International puts us at exactly that spot. What would you like to hear from the president that says a report like this is something he's taking seriously?
I would wish I could mute the president, but wake up tomorrow to action. The president has said so many things. From the time he started and was telling us Tumamina, what is going to change?
Wow, tough words there. Lebogang Ramafoko, the Executive Director of Corruption Watch.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Love is in the air this February. Join your favorite pride of Jersey, the DP World Lions Ladies, for free this weekend at Dobsonville Stadium in Soweto. Catch the double-header action against the Garden Route Badgers. A 50-over match at 10 a.m. Saturday and T20 at 11 a.m. on Sunday. Beyond the boundary, it's Love Cricket with coaching clinics, player interactions, info sessions, and chill picnics. Win epic prizes like tickets to SA versus India Women's T20s at Wanderers in April, return flights, Sun City stays, vouchers, hampers, appliances, and more. Music's pumping. Come cheer on the Lions Ladies.
Every day I'm hustling. It's our reality as business owners. And it's good to know that there's someone out there who takes care of the business that makes the business. Gotta love My Way Business Insurance. Saving big on premiums with 24/7 emergency services, plus My Business Assist with marketing, legal, and labor advice services.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. My Way is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and standard rates apply. My Way. Live your way.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Fashion, art,
art, and music all come together for one incredible day at Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026, powered by 702. To find out more, we chatted to Mahindra South Africa CEO Rajesh Gupta.
Mahindra Fusion Fest has been first conceived for South Africa last year, and this idea has a philosophy known as Ubuntu about Vasudevaya Kutumbakam, which says the entire world is a family, which is saying together we rise. We've been working upon is celebrating this youthful vibrancy of this rainbow nation.
Hit primemediaplus.com for the full interview and get the lowdown on Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026, powered by 702. 7 March, Sunbet Arena. Tickets now at Ticketmaster.
WhatsApp Relebogile on 072 702 1702.
24 minutes to 2 o'clock, and we are talking about how death has changed your relationships with the people around you. Could be for the positive, could be for the negative. Maybe the person is somebody you cut out, but because you heard that they lost their mother or somebody close to them, you reach out and the relationship starts over again. But many people, after death, loss, and grief, see people fall away. Either the relationships change or things about people are revealed after that event. 011 883 0702 in the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702. We go to Zenzo from Randfontein. Hi, Zenzo.
Hi, Sislebo. How are you?
I'm okay, and you?
Oh, well, I think I'm okay. Oh, hi, Shem. Your topic today, I ngeke. No, triggering, eh? Yeah. So what happened is 2024, I lost my firstborn, my daughter, and we had just been blessed with my then girlfriend with a baby girl 7 days before I lost my firstborn. So what happened is after I've lost my firstborn, she hardly spoke to me. I notified her of what happened. She said, oh, okay, that was it. And 3 days just before the funeral, remember the child was not covered, no funeral cover, nothing, because we did not expect for a child to die. You know, not that it doesn't happen, it happens, but we really did not think about it. 3 days before the funeral, she calls and she says, I need 2,500 for groceries. Like, how? Girl, you know I'm going through this, and you know I need every cent I can get just to make sure I see this. No.
So just to check, Zenzo, and I'm so sorry for your loss. Your firstborn daughter, it's not with the same mother as your newborn. No. Okay. No. So you are referring to your firstborn that you had with another mother. Now the one who's asking for groceries is the new baby's mom.
Yes.
So how old was your daughter when she passed on?
She was 18.
18. I'm terribly sorry. So
no, she was just a couple of days before she turned 18. She was 17, just about to turn 18 in August.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now your current girlfriend, mother of your newborn, says, I need this. And then what happened?
All right. I provide the 2,500 that she needs, and I'm surprised because she knows that same year I've just lost my job, so I need every cent I can get. Okay, no problem. I thought, okay, maybe she's going through a tough time herself and stuff. You know, the funeral passes, nothing. She did not even come to check on me. Dude, how are you doing? What's happening? A call just to say, Ndwana, what's wrong? Are you okay? Do you need water? Do you need a hug? Do you want to talk? Do you want to scream? Nothing. All the time when she calls, it was like, so are you deserting me? I'm like, no, I'm not deserting you. Now that I'm done, I'm coming to see my child. She's like, no, you don't have a child. This is my child. I don't need anything from you. Just send the money. Yeah. And ever since then, I've never seen her ever again. She got the rest of her family, her sisters, to actually call and insult me almost every day while I was going through that process until the funeral passed. Yeah. It was, this person, I almost got married to this person. And
how long ago was this?
2024.
So since 2024, you have not seen your other child?
No, I only have 4 pictures. Nothing else.
Zenzo, what do you think was really going on? What was this really about?
I really can't put a finger to it, and it's for the first time that I'm telling this story without being emotional and stuff. I really can't put a finger to it because I thought we had a perfect relationship. You know, my family knew her. Everyone knew about us. It was not a secret. It was not one of those things we're still trying out. No, it was a sure thing. We're doing this, you know. And here's the sad, or I don't know if it's sad or not. When we started our relationship, 4 months into our relationship, she lost her father. I was there every step of the way. Every step of the way. Funeral and whatsoever. I was called. Okay, I'm not sure if I should disclose, but she is colored and I'm black. Yeah. And when I was assisting with the funeral of her dad, the K word was thrown around like nobody's business in that family. And yeah. And I didn't expect for her to fight for me because I know she's not involved in that, you know. Yeah, but
Can I please make a suggestion to you, Zenzo? Please,
Sure.
I'm going to pass you to my producer. We are going to get you a contact for the family courts. Now, if you feel you are ready to go that route to claim your child, you have to unfortunately go via the court systems. And what I'm speaking about is separate from maintenance court. They are 2 different processes. Your child is entitled to know their father, and your child is entitled to have their father in their lives. It's about access. So are you open to us to connecting you with somebody that can assist?
100%.
I'm so sorry, Zenzo, for your loss. The conversation, imela. This is very heavy and triggering, and I'm so sorry to anybody who is listening and having a difficult time. We are thinking of you all. Your WhatsApp messages, please keep me anonymous. After losing the love of my life, his family wrote our daughter off. I feel so isolated. My mom passed away. Now my relationship with my siblings is non-existent. I'm okay with that, but I feel for my daughter. And I've heard of stories like this. I'm so sorry. Lebo, my mother was the glue that brought us together as siblings. We didn't just stop going home, but we also stopped checking up and caring about one another. Funny, because she used to say, when she's gone, all we will have is each other. Relebogile, I got into my car and phoned my sister-in-law. I lost my cousin brother 2 weeks ago. I was checking how she's doing, knowing that after the funeral traffic, she's now alone. The kids were grown up and had left the house. Switched on the radio, and it's the subject that you are discussing. Thanks that people can talk. Talk is a small step to healing from Rifi Lue. Please keep me anonymous. After losing the love of my life, okay, I see that this message was continuing. So it was a part 2 to the earlier one where she continues to say the saddest part is 14 years later, his estate is not concluded. So how does one move on when this thing is just hanging over your head? Having a will with the bank is honestly the worst. That is a whole other conversation we need to have. Relebogile, I lost my twin boys years before. They made me to be fearless, take risks, challenge the status quo, ask questions and be direct respectfully. So recently I lost my dad. As in it's heavy. Things open up. Good things happen. Life approaches me with warmly, but it is rough because it's like I'm blocking people unintentionally because I'd see it late. Latest challenge of status quo, challenging the bank for funds lost and also challenging the ombudsman for maladministration. I ask myself, who are you? Are you okay? But I must say, life seems to embrace me, even though life can be bad. But I see no bad in the badness. That is such a great attitude and approach. Bless you, Relebogile. Your call with Luvuyo is everything. Thank you from Gabedzwe. Relebogile, your topic about death hits home. My father passed away in 2021 during COVID, and him and my mother were married for over 30 years. I feel like my siblings and I have gotten better over some time in accepting the situation. However, my mom has stopped living. Whenever she talks, it's about my late father. She doesn't want to go out, wants her own space, and whenever people check on her, she always mentions the same things. I feel as though family and friends have now distanced themselves, not sure if she pushes them away or they are tired. She doesn't want counseling or to begin a new journey on starting new projects and exercises. She is stuck. I don't know what else to do or say. I'd like to remain anonymous. Anonymous, there are phenomenal grief counselors and social workers that can assist, and maybe they are able to advise on the approach and the strategy if mama is not yet at a place where she is ready to move. Keep in mind that for some people, they feel guilty about moving on. It's the guilt of almost like you are disrespecting the memory of this person, that you need to remain grieving for the rest of your life to show that person that they were loved. So it's not necessarily intentional in the way that they don't want to move on. It's the thinking that moving on is like you are forgetting the person lived, and the guilt that comes with now laughing for the first time, having a good time, and remembering that that person could have been with you. So please do reach out to us if you'd like us to assist with a grief counselor. Here is another one. Relebogile, as a twin myself at 37, I'm heartbroken to hear of Luvuyo's loss of his best friend. I simply want to share love and light to him because what me and my best friend fear has already arrived at his doorstep. Only a twin will understand the pain he lives in. Love to you, brother. Relebogile, the topic of loss is so heavy. I lost a close friend of mine in 2021. I couldn't function. I lost weight. I lost myself. I was broken. I couldn't go anywhere near the places we went together. I avoided going anywhere. Fast forward to 2024, I lost my auntie who helped me heal from the loss of my friend. I was shattered all over again. I couldn't breathe, went right back to weight loss. I couldn't cry in the first year. I was just numb. I couldn't pray anymore. I couldn't even go to church. I was just out of it. I stopped communicating with everyone because I couldn't. This year was the first time I cried after the loss of my aunt. It just came over me and then it wouldn't stop. For hours I was crying. I haven't stopped crying about her since. Everything that reminds me of her sends me. Tears are the necessary release that you need to have because grief can sit in your body. I lost 2 brothers and my dad. It shook my sense of security because these were the men who were my safe space. Few things changed for me as a result. Number 1, I got divorced because all of a sudden the weaknesses in my relationship seemed so obvious. And yes, death can do that, right? It shows you the things. It reveals the things that you were able to sweep under the carpet prior or ignore. Number 2, I became more resilient and ambitious and more financially independent. Number 3, I became a better friend to my inner circle of friends. Number 4, I finally committed to therapy and growing my faith as part of my healing. It definitely changed me drastically. And the final one, afternoon, yeah, it is difficult to lose someone dear to you. My sister lost her only son in 2007. And till this day, she does not want to talk about him. We tried as a family to talk about beautiful things he has done. Immediately, her mood changes. She just shuts down. It makes me feel so sad for her. Yours. That is from Zen Z. Thank you all for your messages. To everybody who is hurting, I am sorry. Please do reach out to professionals for help and give yourself grace. The grief journey, it doesn't matter. Time does not heal wounds the way that we think it does. You can remain stuck for 20 years. You actually have to do the processing and the healing work for time to assist with healing, but sending you all love and light.
Oh, Relebogile, I've experienced this firsthand. It's my father's birthday today. He would have been 88. He died in 2012. And I've been getting further and further away from my family since then. We lost our connection, and that was my dad, who would definitely not tolerate the kind of behavior that's happening in my family now.
Thank you all for your messages, voice notes, and calls.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
The Speaker of Parliament, Togoti Diza, as we look ahead to the State of the Nation address by President Cyril Ramaphosa. And in terms of costs, how are we looking this year compared to where we were last year?
We are looking reasonably well. The cost is more or less 7 million that we've spent for this year. And you'll recall that we could have kept to the same number last year had it not been for the challenges of the inclement weather, the gustly wind that we saw in Cape Town.
Clement Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
Water infrastructure vandalism has tragic and dangerous consequences. The theft of manhole covers can result in fatalities, especially among children. Each damaged pipe, illegal hookup, or vandalized pump jeopardizes access to clean water, disrupts service, and threatens public safety. Report suspicious activity to the City of Johannesburg at 0800 002 587. Help combat water infrastructure vandalism. Your alertness can prevent disasters. Brought to you by Johannesburg Water, a water utility that cares.
Kick off to glory with Hollywood Bets and Asi Shege. Be in the game. Go full speed ahead with the epic competition. You stand to win a share of 4 million rand in cash and prizes, including an all-new Toyota Corolla Cross. Bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture or fixtures online or at your nearest branch. Live life in the fast lane. Bet now for your chance to score. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp HELP to 076 675 0710.
Back to side, back to business. Back to getting the job done the way you like it. Join us from the 22nd of January to the 1st of March for the Chamberlain Back to Business promotion and get excited by incredible offers. From paint and power tools to in-store board cutting and edging, you'll have everything you need to start your year off the right way. Plus, with our wide range of rugged sideware, you'll be comfortable doing it too. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
702 is in conversation with Capitec, discussing how South Africans can protect themselves against financial crime.
It allows the fraudster to choose a number that they wish, so they can present themselves to be your bank's fraud department or even worse, SAPS. And this perfectly imitates. So even if you're using something like a true caller, unfortunately it's at a network layer, so it fools even those sort of call verification services. And really what they do is once that number comes in, they've now creating this fear and urgency. And once you answer, they're really going to use things that trigger strong emotional responses from you to try and get you to stop thinking. And there's going to be things like, hey, there's a fraudulent transaction in your account is about to be closed, your money is at risk, or we found drugs or passports at customs, and then really they're going to try and get that fear factor of you raised in your mind.
Slam the scam with Capitec. Capitec is an authorized financial services provider and registered credit provider.
702.
Belief matters.
Exploring culture, traditions, religion,
And the beliefs that shape our world.
It is 7 minutes to 2 o'clock, and in our Belief Matters feature, we are talking about why chanting is considered holy. And we are joined by Reverend Charlotte Rose Mudau for this conversation from the African Methodist Episcopal Church and co-founder of the NPO called Broken. Reverend, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much, Relebogile, and thank you for having me.
I was just thinking about the fact that you were listening to all of our callers now sharing their stories and messages of grief. And I was wondering if chanting in any way is connected to the healing one might require while grieving.
Yes, it can also help in grieving because the purpose of chanting, or what chanting does, it elevates your consciousness and it also awakens the soul and it brings healing to the body.
So maybe share with us what qualifies as chanting. Does it have to be melodic and in sync?
Definitely, it ought to be rhythmic. It ought to be repetitive. It's a form of speaking words or sounds, or even taking out phrases, and oftenly in monotonous or simple melodic tones.
And I
with
love
understanding.
Yes, and I love what you were saying about the repetitiveness of it and the monotony of it. Now, what happens when you are chanting in a group? Does that increase the power of chanting?
Definitely, it does that, because the act of repeating the same words or the same phrase in a certain form and way, it in unison, it also brings a feeling of connection to each other. Yes.
So what is it about chanting that makes it holy? And can a person be doing the actions without the intention and it is still considered chanting?
Definitely not. You cannot be chanting and not have your focus on it, because apart from it just being a rhythmic experience, a monotonous experience, it is also a way of focused meditation where one ought to visit the inner parts of a self. And so it doesn't necessarily bring out the results if it is not done in its full dimension.
So what, and maybe share with us how it works, because I imagine it's almost like a person is going into a trance of sort. Maybe you can explain, what does it do?
Okay, thank you. It's when you let's give out an example in a form of a psalm. And the topic that we have just spoken about of grief. One way or the other, you ought to speak it, because it's something that it's not going to change. It is a done thing, but where is your form of healing? So it helps you, chanting helps you to keep saying the same thing until you come to a form of realization that this ought to be true. And it provides a certain level of healing. You can keep on shouting the same word. You can keep on repeating the same phrase. You can keep until you say, Relebogile, we often say things that we don't even believe ourselves. But we forget that words have a form of creative mode.
And we know words have power, especially when you repeat them over and over again. They have power.
Yes, exactly. So chanting, it's that form of bringing that understanding to oneself and understanding that this ought to be what I have to do. We often see it also in sports and events.
Oh, yes. And I think
support, yes.
And also just for the energy in the room. And I think the beauty about chanting and the practice, we've seen it in ancient traditions like Hinduism, Buddhism, Judaism, indigenous cultures, early Christianity. So there's so many spaces, Gregorian chants as well. We're going to have to leave it there, Reverend. But thank you so much for your time.
Progress builds, it moves, and it has a partner. That partner is Anglo American. Together, we're building progress where it matters most across South Africa, with 1.6 billion rand unlocked for entrepreneurs through our Impact Finance Network and 25.9 billion rand invested through our Kumba Iron Ore business into infrastructure development, healthcare, community upliftment, and more. These are just a few examples that show when collaboration is real, progress moves faster. As a proud sponsor of the Investing in African Mining Indaba, we are working with our partners to unlock mining's full potential. South Africa has a partner, Anglo-American, mining potential, building beyond.
MasterChef South Africa is now serving on ETV. The kitchen is fresh, the flavors are sizzling, and the chefs are ready to cook up a proper Mzansi storm. To prep for season 6, dropping soon on ETV, catch MasterChef South Africa Celebrity Edition, a tasty palate cleanser to reset your appetite. So whether you're a foodie, a flavor chaser, or just love good TV that feels like home, pull up a chair because MasterChef South Africa is cooking on ETV every Sunday at 6 p.m.
This Valentine's weekend, Motor Select is giving you 3 days to find the one. That one car that just feels right. The one you can't stop thinking about. The one that comes with up to 70,000 Rand cash back. You've got 3 days, 12 to 14 February. Visit motorselect.co.za or any participating Motor Select dealership to find the one and make it official. T's and C's apply.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Water and Sanitation Minister Phemima Jordina and her counterpart in cooperative governance, Velengosini Hlabisa, will not be attending today's State of the Nation address. This after President Cyril Ramaphosa ordered them and their deputies to rather deal with the ongoing water crisis in Gauteng. Some parts of the province have been struggling with water shortages, leading to a number of protests. Thabiso Koba reports.
The ongoing water crisis in some parts of Gauteng and the frustration of many residents has caught the president's attention. President Cyril Ramaphosa has ordered all hands on deck until the situation is resolved. Minister in the presidency, Khumbudzo Ntshabeni, says it's important that different sectors of government are in one room for a coordinated and quicker response.
They're not sent to Johannesburg alone, they're sent to Johannesburg and Tshwane. That's why the Deputy Minister Matlobo, because he had not reached Cape Town, he started in Tshwane yesterday, because people of Tshwane do not have water. So they are not unique, but you need to then say what are the immediate measures to intervene that will alleviate that problem. And the president will articulate those interventions to alleviate the problem.
Today, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi issued a public apology following his comments yesterday where he said the water crisis in the province forced him to take a bath at a hotel. Thabiso Koba, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
Let's stay with that apology by Lesufi. Some disgruntled 702 listeners have threatened to punish the ANC at the polls at the upcoming local government elections following Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi's water blunder. During a press briefing to address the persistent water challenges in parts of Joburg yesterday, Lesufi tried to allay frustrations by telling journalists he is equally inconvenienced by aging infrastructure as well as system constraints.
I mean, in some instances, I had to go to a certain hotel so that I have to go to my commitments. We also go through the same inconveniences like any other person.
He later apologized in a one-page statement on his X account where he said he regrets the impression his comments gave, adding he is not immune to the frustration of water shortages. Despite the turnaround, Lesufi's comments have been met with outrage, with affected residents accusing him of being tone deaf.
Panyaza speaks from a place of privilege. We are here today because of the ANC. Thank you so much, Panyaza. We'll see you at the ballot box.
I thought he was the intelligent one, he's going to turn things around, but Panyaza, you are just like all of them.
Mr. Lesufi, I hope you know we're going to vote.
I think Panyaza's apology stroke explanation is almost as bad as the original statement itself. What people are miffed about is the fact that he appears to rub his privilege in people's faces.
Basic Education Minister Siviwe Gwagube hopes President Cyril Ramaphosa will be generous to the sector when he delivers his State of the Nation address this evening. Gwagube says Ramaphosa should nudge his finance minister to give the sector a bigger funding allocation so it can address some of its key challenges like scholar transport and infrastructure. Ramaphosa will deliver his 10th State of the Nation address later today, where he will outline government's plans for the year ahead. Babalon Ndenze reports.
Basic Education Minister Siwe Kwahube says the sector has been under a lot of strain over the last decade with little to no investment. She says she hopes President Ramaphosa will endorse her department's strategic reorientation of early foundation phases, which is the most important. Kwahube says Ramaphosa must prioritize basic education when he addresses the country tonight.
And so really the sector, because of 10 years of underinvestment, is starting to really feel the pressure. So I'm hoping that he can be generous in saying that greater allocation and greater spending patterns, because it's not just allocation that must be right.
Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana will table his budget in 2 weeks' time, where he's expected to give a bigger allocation to basic education as it implements its new strategy and the Bela Act. Babalo Ndenze, Eyewitness News, Cape Town City Hall.
You can watch President Cyril Ramaphosa deliver the State of the Nation address this evening with expert insights and post-speech reactions live on ewn.co.za. The Johannesburg High Court has handed down an order allowing alleged crime boss Vusimuzi Matlala to physically consult with his lawyers with ease. Today, the court received an update on the readiness for pre-trial proceedings and a request from Matlala's lawyers for easier access to him for consultation. Matlala, his wife Tsakani, and their co-accused face 25 charges in connection with 3 botched hits between August 2022 and January 2024. Khomotso Modise has more.
During Vusimuzi Matlala's last court appearance, his lawyers complained about the conditions at the eBongweni super maximum security prison where he was transferred to in December. But today, they informed the court that he's been held at the Khosi Mampuru prison in Pretoria since his last court appearance last week. Matlala's lawyer, advocate Annelien van der Heever, has told the court that she still experiences challenges when trying to consult with him at CMAX and has requested that the court allow that he be brought to the Johannesburg High Court for consultation. But Judge William Karam handed down a judgment to make consultation easier at the Khosi Mampuru prison. He's ordered that the prison make a consultation room available where Matlala and his lawyers can physically sit together with no obstruction, where they can also hand documents to each other. He's also ordered that Van der Heever be allowed to take a laptop in. Matlala and his co-accused are due back in the High Court on the 26th of this month for a pre-trial hearing. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News at the Johannesburg High Court.
And in Venezuela, lawmakers could pass a landmark bill today granting amnesty to political prisoners. If passed, the move would mark an early milestone in the transition from the rule of toppled leader Nicolas Maduro. It was spearheaded by interim President Delcy Rodriguez. Rodriguez replaced Maduro after he was captured by U.S. forces last month and flown to New York to face trial. As interim leader, Rodriguez has already started releasing political prisoners ahead of the pending amnesty. She has also ordered the closure of a notorious prison in Caracas, which has been denounced as a torture center by the opposition as well as some activists. Gold is trading at $5,074.83 an ounce. The rand is at 15.92 to the dollar, 21.74 to the pound, 18.93 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $69.40 a barrel.
Well, at this stage in Isando, Kempton Park, you can still expect about a 30-minute delay on the R24 westbound. This is from the R21 split to Barbara Road, heading into the Joburg CBD. Traffic is a bit sluggish. This is in Amalgam on Main Reef Road between Nasrec and the M2.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng with scattered showers expected. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 30 and 31 degrees. The top story in EWN: Water and Sanitation's Minister Phemi Majodina and her counterpart in Cooperative Governance Velenkosini Hlabisa will not be attending today's State of the Nation address.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with Relebogile Mabotja
Live, streaming countrywide
on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
10 minutes after 2 o'clock, the second and final hour of 702 Afternoons with me, Relebogile Mabotja. We're going to jump straight into our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows with Wendy. Nola, get your questions in early because there's always a queue. 011 883 0702, SMS us 31702, tweet at Relebogile M at Radio 702 using the hashtag 702 Afternoons and the WhatsApp line 072 702 1702.
702.
Nola Knows.
Nola Knows time with Wendy. Nola, Wendy, how are you doing?
I'm fine, Relebogile. How are you?
I am well. I realize that
good.
This feature becomes like the build-up for the week every week. And we always have something new. There's a big surprise that comes out of it. So I'm looking forward to chatting about online grocery shopping because I don't go to the shops.
Yes, this I know. I think it's the same for many of us. COVID was the big impetus for many people to start shopping this way, and it's become a way of life. You only have to be on the road to see the scooters to know that that's the case. So first of all, I was interested in a market share. So the turquoise ones, the 60/60, they've got ahead of the gang properly. They own 80% of the online shopping, grocery shopping market in South Africa. So the other three, that's in this order, would be Woolworths, Pick n Pay, and Spar. They share that 20%, the remaining 20%. So just to set the scene for this topic. So yeah, this topic started with me getting an email from a woman called Rita, who shared with me her complaint with 60/60. She had been effectively blocked on the app, she said, because of some returns that she'd logged. So, of course, that got my attention properly. And on her version, it seemed grossly unfair, but it turned out that she had edited out some key details in the story. So let me first say, so you and I have had this conversation off air. Social media is full of outrage posts and videos, a lot of it directed at companies, supermarkets, other retailers, insurance companies, rental agents, everyone. And it's normally positioned as, clicks, pick, pay, whatever, come here, I want to tell you, and it goes. And don't get me wrong, I think in the past, pre-social media, the companies had far too much power, right? And social media has equalized that imbalance and given customers the ability to share their stories, with everybody else. And that mostly is a good thing. But and I'm sure that most of what is shared is valid and justified of, what we see on TikTok, for example. But what is missing mostly is the company's version of events. And that's the difference between social media and traditional media. That would be what I do. Because if I had to ventilate somebody's complaint and then add my commentary without giving the company the right of reply, sooner or later, and most likely sooner, I'd be getting a complaint from the higher ups in the media houses to say that a complaint had been lodged with the Press Ombudsman, or in the case of radio, the Broadcasting Complaints Commission. And rightly so, because we have to be responsible. We have to account for our actions. So the overwhelming majority of people who email me for help do give me the whole story, are 100% accurate, and they don't leave out crucial details. But I've had a rash, one as recently as this morning actually, of cases, complainants who tell me the story and it sounds really bad, and I take it up with the company. And I'm always very modest and temperate in my language. I say, if this version of events is correct, then it would indeed be an injustice. And I won't go into today's funeral policy one, but this case, one of these cases where I wasn't told the whole story, happened to involve this Rita and her 60/60 complaint. So let's get to that case. She emailed me a few weeks ago to complain, as I say, that her 60/60 account had been disabled. And I thought, what? Because she wrote, I'm a pensioner with no transport, and so I purchase on 60/60 for my groceries to be delivered. And she says, checkers saying that she can order goods to be delivered, but if there's a problem with the delivery, in brackets, she says damaged goods, then I must take an Uber at my cost to the store to return it after I have paid for delivery. She says, can you, and this is directed at 6060, can you please advertise this returns policy on your app or in media adverts so that the public will understand how they will be treated? Pictures and evidence were provided on all of the goods, she says, that were not up to standard. And I must now accept that I have to go into the store in order to get refunded. Is this a moral and ethical way of dealing with customers, especially pensioners? Are you happy to treat the elderly like this? So, she also is asking what happened to the money in my wallet when you rudely disabled my account. And I thought, well, that's a good question. And so her response on being told by this is what she wrote, after getting this email from 6060. Due to the nature of your recent claims history on 6060, your profile has been flagged by our system and subsequently suspended pending investigation into your recent claims. Please note that you are required to return these items to any Checkers store near you so that we can make an assessment, and also note that you will be assisted in store for an exchange or refund. Your profile will remain suspended until we receive your feedback. I don't know about you, Relebogile, but I'd never heard of anybody's profile being suspended.
It's so
on 6060
odd.
or any other app.
Yeah, because I would imagine
it was odd.
Profiles get maybe suspended on apps where you're interacting with people and maybe people have reported you, unless the customer did something so heinous to a driver that they had to suspend their account. And then for me, in my mind, that would be justifiable. Like if, I don't know, you abused one of the drivers or something, then they suspend you.
Okay. Yeah. So based on that version, it was about the fact that she'd logged some returns and now they're making her, she'd actually sent some photos. They first asked for photos, but now they were still making her go into the store. And, how is that justifiable? Because she's shopping online for a reason. And in her case, she's, a pensioner and she doesn't have her own car. So I took all of this up with ShopRite and I asked what were the reasons. And the answer was this. And I'm reading from their response that they emailed me. Checker 6060 customers may log a claim for any item they are not 100% satisfied with without needing to provide extensive proof upfront. And that was certainly my experience. The value of the claimed item is automatically refunded either directly into the customer's bank account or as an app credit to be used for future orders. To ensure the sustainability of this claims process and to avoid exploitation, 6060 applies risk-based claims and fraud monitoring, which is pattern-based and therefore more objective. So that it's done automatically and not by someone sitting there making judgment calls on why people are logging returns, right? So this is the important bit as it relates to Rita's claim. When a customer's claim activity exceeds defined threshold, the app triggers a review by our internal claims team. So now it becomes a human assessment. It is a standard control to protect both the customer and 6060 and does not automatically imply wrongdoing on the customer's part. During a review, an account may be temporarily restricted from further claiming while the investigation is underway, or in severe instances, the account may be suspended to prevent fraudulent claims. And to answer Rita's question, no historic claim funds are forfeited and all available wallet balances or credits remain fully intact. Okay. And they do these reviews within 24 hours and then they respond appropriately. So here's what happened in Rita's case. Her claims rate was 25 times higher than the national average. So what that means in actual numbers, 60% of the orders that she placed, so quite a bit more than half, in the last 3 months had attracted a credit, significantly exceeded our investigation threshold and required further analysis. As part of our fraud detection process, it was flagged and she was asked to provide photos of these items that she wanted to return. So normally they ask you for photos to make the process simple. But in this case, they asked for photos. She did supply photos, but said 6060, no defects were evident. And that's why she was asked to visit the store so that the items could be assessed in person. This is an additional safeguard for accounts showing abnormal claims activity. So when the customer explained she was unable to visit the store, and after further investigation, her account was activated within 24 hours with the relevant credit applied. I don't know if that's before or after my intervention, but it doesn't really make too much difference. 6060 did concede that they could have handled the case better. Where we fell short, they said, is that the customer should have been contacted on the phone to explain why the account was flagged, and we would have been able to establish that she was unable to return the items to store, and we acknowledge that this communication gap have identified it as an area for improvement. We regret inconvenience, etc. So I go back to Rita, right, and I say, please could you share with me what sort of issues have prompted you to log a claim? Because she just used words like substandard. I said, I really would like to understand where the company has been failing you. In other words, in what ways have the goods been substandard in ways that can't be seen in the photographs? No response. So I sent it again. Please respond. No response. So read into that what you will. So it would seem, I mean, I'm not revealing her name, full name.
Yes.
But, obviously these apps try to make it simple. And in doing so, the customer benefits from the benefit of the doubt that the product really is problematic, right? Because they're not asking you, in most cases, not even to send photos. They're not asking you to go back to the store. They're taking your word for it that there was an issue. And so I thought, this is interesting. Let me ask the others, the other 20% in the market, how do you deal with do you have similar systems to alert possible fraud, or what's your protocol when customers say there's something wrong with the product? Do they have to return to the store? Are they ever denied access to the app? And if so, under what circumstances? So they each gave me quite a bit of info, so I'm going to try and summarize it a bit. Essentially, Pick n Pay says that they have a protocol for all delivery-related issues: damaged, expired, missing, incorrect, or substandard items. They have a separate thing for alcohol-related queries, where there has to be a store-level investigation due to regulations. However, this does not prevent a customer from receiving a refund. Where helpful, customers may share images of affected items. So I think that would be a good idea to do it in good faith. Upload a pic and say, this is the issue, look, it's past its best before, or the kids were squashed, and sometimes happens with fresh produce. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Is it all dealt with in the app? Yes, it is dealt with in the app. Sometimes high value items may require a physical return, because they're not just going to take your word for it, right? If it's very expensive, they're not going to just say, well, keep it and we'll give you a return. They want to see it. In some cases, they actually send a driver to you. This is Pick n Pay, to come and uplift what you've got an issue with. But in most cases, customers are not required to return items, and queries are handled through customer service. Is it all dealt with on the app? No, it's managed through the customer service team. Pick n Pay will soon introduce automatic self-service refunds, which will further streamline the experience. You can see here how Checkers' IT systems are ahead of the rest of the pack, right? They really are IT forward, and the rest are playing catch up. As to whether they ever deny people access to the app, no. Only in rare situations related to fraud prevention or security concerns, and customers displaying unusually high refund activity, such as the example referenced in the 6060 case, are escalated to a customer service agent to ensure fairness and prevent abuse. So that's also handled on a human level. Woolworths, if the customer's unhappy, we work with them to resolve the issue. Each case is handled individually. There are no automated refunds. We do not ban Woolies customers from our app based on complaints. There's no requirement to return unwanted goods, but in some instances, we may collect the item for internal evaluation. From time to time, customers choose to return online or dash purchases to stores, and our teams are able to assist with refunds in the store as well. Spar, finally, I think it's fair to say they've got the smallest slice of this on grocery pie. And also what's different is that it's handled by each individual store, because they're all individually owned. It's a different model. They say we rectify any issues of incorrect items by replacing them with the correct order as soon as possible. If it's out of stock, suitable substitutes are offered. Concerns regarding delivery service quality are assessed on a case-by-case basis, at an individual store level because of that business model. Where appropriate, the SPA Group customer care team supports the resolution process to ensure a suitable outcome. Do they have to return items to the store? Not generally. They do the rest the same as the others. They ensure replacement collection or another appropriate resolution, ensuring minimal inconvenience to the customer. All done in app? No. Fully managed. They're not fully managed via the app. Resolution involves human intervention. Are customers ever denied access to the app? Yes. This is dependent on the circumstances, but is very rare. Like the others, based on fraud investigations, they would then block the app. I think they're talking here about high spend, and the consumer says that's not me, then they block to protect the customers. That's slightly different to blocking because you've logged too many returns. So I just thought that was quite an interesting little exercise. So now everybody knows. And I think the bottom line is don't take advantage of this sort of attitude that they generally have. If there's a problem with an online delivery, they will, in order to make things easier for you and them, I suppose, because they don't have to come and uplift, and they're not going to make you go into the store. They'll just say, okay, sorry to hear that. We've issued your credit or your refund. But I just think it's if we're going to take advantage of that, it's why not use the technology to actually submit a photograph, because then there's no question marks about whether it's a genuine thing or not. But there you go. So
which is fair.
It is fair. And if you look, maybe you've just had a particularly bad run, but I think in 3 months, if you're lodging a return on 60% of your orders, I think if I was in charge of that system, I would also wanted to flag that as a possible issue.
Okay, and I'm seeing somebody...
As someone that does a lot of online shopping.
Yes, I'm seeing somebody saying regarding 60/60 change to PNP or SPA. I'm assuming it's somebody who has had a challenge going on to say, not a fan of Checkers, their fish and pork is not good. Well, look, this is the risk with ordering online, right? When it comes to fresh products, you can't choose for yourself. And that is the risk that you end up taking. I'll be honest, I use all of the apps, including OneCart and Zulzi, because sometimes certain things are not available and some apps don't work in some areas if I'm traveling. So I guess I'm with everybody. I'm with everybody.
You could do your own analysis.
Right? So one thing I can tell you, if you want access to medication easily, Zulzi is for me the best, because not only can you get over the counter, so like I have been at work, needed a painkiller, I will get a Zulzi and it can come within 15-20 minutes. So I can get Mybulin, Myprodol, Genpain, and you can upload a prescription and they'll deliver. I also love about Zulzi's that they have the section where you can support local. So you can buy small businesses like Acha, Hot Sauce. There's a Mopane Worm company. They do protein bars. That's what I love about Zulzi. And they open by 6 a.m. Then OneCart gives you access to a whole lot of stores. Game, Macro, even like the ink company, the bottle stores. So you can do multiple stores at one go with one cart. Yes, with one delivery. SPA, if there's certain imported products I want, like Calypso is this international lemonade, I go via SPA. And then Woolworths, for certain fruit and veg that I like a certain way, I do Dash. And then you can still get Dis-Chem as well, because Dis-Chem doesn't just do meds and prescriptions, but they do other things as well, from baby products to cereals.
You've just, in these few minutes, as somebody that takes advantage of all of this, imagine a few years ago, like 5 years ago, it's not that long ago. Imagine this being available. It wouldn't have entered our heads. And now with a few taps, you can shop like this with a wide range, in some cases, from different stores. Pay one payment, one delivery. I think by and large it's amazing. There are, because of the number, the volume of these orders, there are going to be some that are wrong, and you don't have the advantage of touchy-feely looking, especially with fresh produce and those kind of things that aren't sort of medication. That's medication. Like the only thing you could check was the expiry date, I guess. But apart from that, which I think is the downside, you can't, get the milk from the back of the fridge.
Yes.
But what a service to consumers. Okay, yes, we pay delivery fees and whatever, but I mean, where we were 4 or 5 years ago to where we are now, it's just unbelievable, and that's driven by consumer demand.
Definitely. We will go through some of the messages that are coming through when we come back. It's 2:30. Time for your latest Eyewitness News headlines. Good afternoon.
Thanks, Relebogile. Good afternoon. The Madlanga Commission of Inquiry is expected to feature prominently in President Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address. Ramaphosa is expected to take to the podium at the Cape Town City Hall this evening to present his annual address. Political parties say it would be out of touch for the head of state not to touch on the Commission's work. The South African Human Rights Commission will be sending a letter to the National Disaster Management Centre to recommend declaring the water crisis a national disaster. This as pressure mounts in Gauteng for intervention where communities face disruptions in the supply of water. Some residents in areas like Midrand, Melville and the south of Joburg have resorted to protest action demanding running water in their taps. And in the UK, a 13-year-old boy has been charged with 2 counts of attempted murder after he allegedly stabbed pupils at a school in London. It's alleged he stabbed 2 boys who were rushed to hospital in a serious condition. The teen has also been charged with having a knife on the school premises and using insect spray on a 3rd child. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 3 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, we still have about a 30-minute delay in the Isando Kempton Park area. That's if you're heading towards Bedfordview, Edenvale. That's the R24 westbound between the R21 split and Barbara Road. In Sandton, heading towards Midrand, bumper-to-bumper traffic. M1 North, this is from Ethel Oaklands to Marlborough Drive and heading into the Joburg CBD. Traffic remains sluggish. This is an amalgam on Main Reef Road between Nazareth Road and the M2. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. There's much to say about where South Africa is, and even more about where it's going.
On Thursday, 12 February, President Cyril Ramaphosa delivers the State of the Nation address, live from Cape Town City Hall.
702 Cape Talk and Eyewitness News will be there, analyzing every word and bringing you the news as it breaks.
From the build-up to the address to the conversations that follow.
Join Clement Maniatela and Mandy Wiener for live coverage and in-depth analysis from 6 to 10 p.m.
Live on the radio or live stream on the Prime Media Plus app. Sona 2026. Thursday, 12 February.
Live on 702 Cape Talk and EWN.
Joburg Ballet presents Giselle, the most sublime of all romantic ballets, at the Joburg Theatre from Thursday the 12th of February to Sunday the 15th of February. Giselle is a heart-trending story of love, so powerful that it reaches from beyond the grave. It lays bare a tale of passion, betrayal and forgiveness, with one of the greatest of all ballerina roles at its core. There'll be 2 Valentine's Day performances at the Joburg Theatre on Saturday, the 14th of February at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. It is the ideal opportunity to celebrate this romantic ballet with your Valentine. And later this month, Giselle will be at the South African State Theatre in Pretoria from Friday the 20th of February to Sunday the 22nd of February. You can book tickets for Giselle at webtickets.co.za.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
LLB graduates can fast-track their legal career with the Law Society of South Africa's PVT School for Legal Practice. LPC accredited, this 4-month practice-ready course, which is taught by practicing lawyers, can reduce your PVT contract by 12 months for admission. Study by day, after hours, or via distance at campuses nationwide. The first 2026 intake runs from January to April. Applications close 31 October 2025. Apply now at lssalead.org.za. That's lssalead.org.za.
When it comes to protecting your workforce, trust the workwear brand that has been protecting workers for over 150 years, Sweetall. Sweetall has overalls and uniform solutions for every industry, so your team is safe, comfortable, and ready to tackle any challenge. Visit our Boksburg showroom, shop A1 Atlas Road, Westwood, Boksburg, or go to sweetall.com today. Sweetall, we never let you down. Superior protective workwear since 1871.
Fashion, art, and music all come together for one incredible day at Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026, powered by 702. To find out more, we chatted to Mahindra South Africa CEO Rajesh Gupta.
Mahindra Fusion Fest has been first conceived for South Africa last year, and this idea has a philosophy known as Ubuntu about Vasudevaya Kutumbakam, which says the entire world is a family, which is saying together we rise. We've been working upon is celebrating this youthful vibrancy of this rainbow nation.
Hit primemediaplus.com for the full interview and get the lowdown on Mahindra Fusion Fest 2026, powered by 702. 7 March, Sunbet Arena. Tickets now at Ticketmaster.
Coming up
on 702 Drive with John Perlman.
702 Drive is coming up from 3 to 6 p.m. with John Perlman. John, happy Thursday. What's coming up on your show today?
Happy Thursday to you too, Relebogile, and good afternoon to all of our listeners. So, State of the Nation address this evening. Obviously, we'll be taking a close look at that. Mandy and Clement both down there. Mandy had a lot of coverage on the midday report. She's back with Clement from 6 o'clock, so we'll be chatting to both of them between 5 and 5:30, just getting their take. They've had a lot of conversations with people. What's been said? What can we expect to be said by the president tonight? We're going to, before that, though, ask the question, what is the State of the Nation address? On the face of it, it's kind of obvious. We know that at the beginning of the parliamentary year, the president of the country gives an address. But what is it actually for? Is it meant to set out government's program? Is it meant to give details as to what's going to happen? Is it a wish list? What is it? So we're going to...
Good question, because how are we going to measure if it was a good one or not a good one? And sometimes people come out and say, why didn't he talk about this? But maybe that's not what the agenda's meant to be.
Well, and I'd add a further question to this and to say, well, even if he did talk about it, it doesn't mean it's going to get done. So, you know, if the only measure of things in South Africa and performance was, did you talk about it?
Oh, my gosh.
We'd be in 5-star territory, but we're not at the moment. I think it's fair to say. By-elections, never mind the politicians of now, but the political landscape shifting all the time with by-elections. Big wins for the Patriotic Alliance in George, and for the IFP in KZN. Wayne Sussman will give us his analysis and evaluation of that. We've got an episode of The Brain of 702. We're going to keep up to date with the Joburg water situation. And, of course, stuff happens while we're on air. We'll try to cover it.
So you speak about the Joburg water situation. Somebody was saying to me not so long ago that apparently Pretoria also doesn't have water.
No, that's a very good point, actually, and that sets me right, because we focused a lot on Joburg. Let's make sure we get Tshwane in as well.
Thank you so much. 702 Drive with John Perlman. Let him know which area you're in, especially if you don't have water. Coming up from 3 to 6 p.m.
702.
Nola knows.
Time for us to continue with our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows, 011 8830702, and the WhatsApp line 0727021 The lines are open. We're going to kick off with some voice notes first. And I was sort of giving an overview earlier on the different delivery apps, but I wanted to just make a comment, Wendy, to say there are so many new delivery services. We had a young lady who's got an app called Pantry Pal, where they do shopping for you. There is another one where I think they cut up your fruit for you. So I'll also encourage people to support like the small businesses that are pushing their hustle with their specialized delivery apps. We try to feature them as regularly as possible on our tech feature, but I know we've got the big ones related to the supermarkets. There are the ones that are area specific that, try to do the local sourcing and things like that. So I'm going to start with the voice notes that relate to what we've been talking about, and then we go to the lines. Here's the first one.
Hi, what is it with Checkers 360 not delivering the same day? Every time I'm trying to make an order around about 4ish, I'm told that it's going to arrive tomorrow at 8. But when I'm making an order by Pick and Pay, they can even bring it at 7:30 in the evening. And I understand that the modes of transport do change, but Pick and Pay has got a change mode of transport. They'll arrive with a car at 8 o'clock, 7:30, and Checkers the next day. Thanks, it's Bongi.
Bongi, let me help in with this one as a regular. So, the reason why sometimes when you are starting your order, you need to look at the top of the screen where it tells you what time your delivery might arrive. So if it's going to be the next day, because it depends on the Checkers that's in your area. So for example, in my area, the Checkers I think can close up to 7 p.m. But in other areas where the Checkers is not as big and maybe they close at 5, at 4, you're giving them less than 60 minutes to come and deliver. So you have to look at that part of the app to be able to see if it's going to come first thing in the morning or after. And the same applies with Woolies and all of them. Check at the beginning, not at the checkout part. At the beginning, it will show you the car and it will tell you how long. And if there's a hyper, it will say in 3 hours time or tomorrow. I hope that answers you. Here's another voice note.
Hi there, such a great discussion on these shopping platforms. A few things, I think with Checkers 6060, they have a little thing now where you have to confirm the address. That was probably because of me, because the number of times I've sent stuff to the wrong address is quite embarrassing. Then I also find sometimes that it kind of saves you money, because when you go into a store with your grocery list, you often add other things that you don't really need, like chocolates, and obviously then your bill is substantially more. So yeah, I use it often, and very, very handy way to shop.
Thank you so much. Wendy, any comments on those voice notes?
Yeah, I think our listener there, the last one, can't claim that it was entirely because of her. I know that was a joke, but I once famously, I live in Cape Town, so I was in Durban visiting friends, and I thought I'll order them some wine, and to arrive just before I got there. And so I changed the address, obviously, and then forgot to change it back, and wasn't paying attention when I did my next rather large grocery shop back home, and realized too late when I got a call from the driver to say he's outside, and I'm saying I can see outside and you're not there. And so it became apparent that, shame, all my groceries had gone to this address in Durban, quite a long way away. They took it back and sent me the same order and didn't charge me for my mistake, which I thought was great. But when I saw that they now, you have to confirm your address before you can proceed on the app, I thought clearly I was not alone in that.
You were not. Sorry, you're not alone. I've done the same thing ordered in Cape Town, forgot to change the address, and then you're like this poor man all the way in Cape Town waiting, and you're in Joburg being like, where are you?
Terrible.
All right, the lines are open. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. There's a message, WhatsApp that says, Checkers is my go-to, but I wouldn't recommend buying meat online. Even Woolies Dash sent meat that is not 100% fresh. Ooh, goodness. Okay, we go to Tebogo in Pretoria East. Tebogo, go ahead.
Hello.
Hi, Tebogo, go ahead.
No, I'm not Tebogo.
Oh, hello. Okay, let me
Hello.
pass you back onto our producer and see so that I can just make sure we've got the correct information in front of us. Alex in Randburg, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thanks, and you?
Very well, thank you. I want to make my story very short.
Yes.
I have a problem with a well-known brand for telecommunication. I've been with them for the past 20 years with the same number.
Right.
But in 2024, I had a contract with them. That was like my fourth contract. But the person on the shop, she misled me for something that I never signed for. The first thing I did when the receipt came for the next month, I went to her and explained. She misled me again, telling me that she put some extra minute, which was not true. To cut it short, I did not continue to pay the installment for protest. And when they called me few times, I explained to them. And the person who always calling, she tell then I lodge a complaint because I already lodged a complaint with the manager. The manager say, come back after 3 days. I come back after 3 days. He say he cannot do nothing. Then I launch complaint with the company itself. But I was continuing to pay the contract because I already we're waiting for the feedback. Unfortunately, the feedback comes. They tell me go to the resolution is there by the shop where I signed the contract. I went there. The manager tell me yes, I've been with you. The manager, I talked to my two bosses. They are fine now. You need to pay what you owe this company. Then I will cancel the contract. And I even offer, are you gonna give me? Should I give you back the phone? He said, no, you don't need it. Okay, to cut the story short, he told me I need to pay the previous balance that I owe, which I tell him that I was skeptical. I tell him if I pay it, I don't think the contract will be reinstated. So I didn't pay until the company itself send me the lawyer. The lawyer threatened to block me, make me to lose the line that I have for the past 20 years. I pay. As soon as I pay, I went to the shop and I tell them I pay. They tell me I'm going to call you in the next 24 hours. Until then, nothing. They reinstate the contract. Now I'm back to point zero again, and I don't like it because they mislead me. That is my problem with this particular company. Yes.
Oh, all right, Wendy.
Alex, can you
Yes.
tell me in one sentence in what way you were misled? They told you were getting X, but what were you actually getting in terms of what was captured in the contract?
First of all, I always have a 24-month contract. She put for me 36-month contract. When I went there, I said, specifically, I need this amount for every month. She put more than that amount. When that amount come as a 900, and I went back and I said, this is not what I signed for. That's where she misled me, says she put extra minute, which was not true. Then that is the first misleading words for what you call it. The minute, the money, and the duration of the contract. Yes.
Okay, so you said that the number of minutes was actually you said I want a contract for no more than whatever 700 rand, and you actually it's 900 rand or whatever. Is that more or less what happened?
Exactly.
Okay, so So it was correct on the contract, but you didn't check the number of months or the amount because you trusted what she told you verbally. Is that right?
Of course, I trusted that brand, but what she did, because like I have two numbers. The first one that I signed on top was 24 months, but the other one that down was 36 months. It's like 2 in 1.
Okay. Okay.
Because,
so the first thing I'm going
because
to
the
say is,
line and the phone was different. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so to keep it simple for our listeners, always check. I get a lot of these complaints, and it's difficult to prove unless the conversation was recorded in some way, because all that's left as proof is the contract you signed. So I'm sure the contract says 900 Rand and it says 36 months. And if, the onus is on us. I'm not saying that misleading sales don't happen, because I know they do. I've taken up these cases, and sometimes they do it as a goodwill. But these sales agents who want to be a little play hard and play fast and loose with the truth, they know that you're not going to be able to prove it afterwards. So always check. And I want to give you a personal example. I took my elderly mother to a cell phone company in a mall at the weekend on Sunday. She needed a new contract. And we went through the whole thing, and me, Wendy Nola, I'm sharp, right? And because I've been doing this for so long, and luckily I checked, because there was no discussion, my bad, on the length of the contract. I was just going on what it's 24 months. I haven't taken out my own contract for a while. And luckily, before I even looked at the documentation, I said, how many months is this over? And he went, 36. And I went, you should have mentioned that to me.
Yeah.
Just put it in the contract. You should have mentioned it to me. No, do your sums again. My mother's turning 86 this year. We need a contract that's shorter, not longer. And I said to Mom, are you happy paying a little bit more every month? Yes, she's happy. So please know, it's because the cell phones have got so expensive. Please know that you never assume it's 24 months. It's probably going to be 36, the default. And if you don't want to, lock yourself in for 3 years, then change that. And the other thing is, as Alex's story proves, there are cases when you're going to be told one sweet story, and then you're going to sign where you're told, because you're just trusting them for the contract to reflect what they told you. And in many cases, it doesn't. Having said all that, Alex, if you want to send me an email summarizing what you've just shared with us, put your contract number there or your cell number. I'll take it up with the network concerned. If it's one that I've dealt with one of these cases recently, it's kind of, hopefully the what's the word? The benefit of the doubt will be given to you to say, well, we've had cases where, your people on the ground have been known to misrepresent. So please, ideally, what do you want to happen, Alex? You're wanting the contract.
Alex is chatting to our producers and taking your details. We do need to go to a break, but hopefully there will be some feedback. It just in terms of what options are available if a person feels like they are duped or misled. We need to go for a break. When we come back, I see you. Is it Keith? And we will go to you in a moment.
The average person will hear their boss say, quick one, 3,476 times during their life. And it's never a quick one. In fact, it's a very long one that forces you to cancel your anniversary dinner at the restaurant with the Michelin star chef, and then work through the weekend only to arrive on Monday and be told that the client has decided to go in a different direction. Life taxes you, so invest tax-free from as little as 250 Rand per month.
Coronation. Trust is earned. Coronation is an authorized FSP.
The Dis-Chem Better Rewards program is here, and every time you shop and save, you're also giving back. Each time you swipe, not only are you rewarded, but a percentage of your purchase is donated to the Dis-Chem Foundation to support communities in need. So why wait? Sign up to become a Better Rewards member today and support with every swipe. Dis-Chem Foundation, caring for the community.
This Valentine's weekend, Motor Select is giving you your last chance to find the one. That one car that just feels right. The one you can't stop thinking about. The one that comes with up to 70,000 Rand cash back. Today's the last day, so don't let love drive away. Visit motorselect.co.za or any participating Motor Select dealership to find the one and make it official. T's and C's apply.
702.
Nola knows.
6 minutes to 3 o'clock, and we continue in our consumer rights feature, Nola Knows. And 011 883 0702 and the WhatsApp line 072 702 and 702. We have a voice note.
Hi, I bought some clothing online on Woolies. But those guys never delivered. I mean, really? And the discount was so good, it was half price. But the guys never delivered. They refunded the money. But for me, I wanted the clothes, not refunding. They could just not get the address. I'll never shop online at Woolies again. Never, ever, ever.
I'm sorry. I wonder what happened. Yeah, I
It
wonder.
sounds like they couldn't find him. He said they just couldn't get the address. Because I was thinking before he said that it was half price, there's a lot of demand, and you put it in a basket, but meanwhile someone's just hupsed it before you, kind of thing. That happened, and it's very disappointing. But it seems in his case they couldn't get the address, which is interesting because you've got to put your address in first, and then they sort of say, yes, we service that area. So I would like to know what happened there. If
I wonder if it's the driver,
if our
because
listener,
I've had a situation where the driver couldn't see. Like, the address is clear, but the pin sometimes throws the drivers off. And I think he got impatient and left. And then they refunded, and I had to reload the order for them to come. So I wonder if it was the driver or what had happened. But obviously, if there's a discount, and then, but let's see if we can get you the person's contacts, Wendy, so that you can see what might have happened.
Okay, sure.
All right, we've got Mamokete in Pretoria East. Hi, go ahead.
Good afternoon. I'm requesting help from Wendy Nola for the claim on my insurance.
Yes, what happened?
I had an operation and I was botched. Now I claimed and I have not yet received anything.
So
They're not paying back.
What did they say is the reason that they haven't paid? Are you saying that they accepted the claim but you're waiting for the money, or they haven't approved the claim?
They haven't approved the claim. I went to all the process and I sent everything, but there was never any response anymore after I forwarded the documents they requested from me.
Sure.
Let me understand this. Mamokete, did I hear you right? You said the operation was botched.
Oh yes. Yes.
Okay, so I'm sorry about that. First of all, but who did you claim? Who did you lodge the claim with? What policy did you have to cover such a thing?
A disability claim.
So let's do this, Mamokete. I'm gonna pass you back to our producers, and I think this story might be big enough to take to air. Wendy, because we've run out of time, let us get the full story.
I know, but I would like to follow up.
Yes,
please,
definitely.
Yes.
Let's find out, because especially in a case like that, if it is a disability claim, we know that the criteria can be quite strict. But also,
Tricky.
why would the communication not be there, or any feedback? We'll have to continue with all these stories next week, Thursday. Thank you so much, Wendy.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion, because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours, and you will get double accident cover with a Clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The Johannesburg Philharmonic Orchestra presents its Valentine's Gala concert with music to melt your heart. Conducted by Daniel Boyko, the concert features award-winning pianist Charles Duplessis and showcases South Africa's ballroom champions. Saturday, 14th February at 7 p.m. at the Linda Auditorium. Tickets at Quicket.
Tip your way to glory in the Hollywood Bets Punters Challenge, the free-to-play horse racing game with daily cash giveaways and massive jackpot prizes. Pick all the winners on the race card and you could win 100,000 Rand. Bet 50 Rand or more on your selections using the Bet Slip feature and you could walk away with 1 million Rand. Visit punterschallenge.hollywoodbets.net today and tip your way to the top.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008.
Thank you so much for joining us on 702 Afternoons. Make sure you tune in to 702 Drive with John Perlman. They'll be chatting water and sauna. It is 3 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Presidency says Ramaphosa will address key issues in SONA tonight, and the Human Rights Commission wants the water crisis declared a disaster. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Minister